This session is one that we're modelling after, as I've said, the Alliance panel at EVE FanFest in Iceland. You may have seen it over the years on the stream. Thanks, Ben. Sometimes a little bit of it's sort of fairly a light-hearted session. People can tell us from their particular corporate alliance what these guys do in the game. A bit of an opportunity to sell their wares for people that might not be in a corporate alliance and take a liking to one of the guys' little spills. And then we'll have a bit of a discussion about Australian time zone corps and alliances and the challenges that some of these guys have faced, and all questions from the floor. So it's all about a bit of a sort of time zone sort of chat. So we'll go to Point Precision at this end first, because he's got his PowerPoint up on the screen, and he'll give us a little heads up, and then we'll go down the line, each guy giving us a bit of a spiel about him, and then we'll go to a bit of a chat.
Hi everybody, my name is Tab, and also known as Miss Death, and numerous other chars like most of you in the game would probably have. So it was a little bit confusing on which one I registered. My favourite one I did register on during this was Mike Litteris. And then was told I had to change it. So I'm now Tab. Right, so I'm the CEO of Point Precision. Point Precision is, depending on if ITI is getting kicked out of the CFC, the largest corporation within the CFC. On the Australian time zone, we probably have, well, we do have the biggest Australian member base within the Clusterfuck Coalition. The mission for our corporation is to simply make a lot of kills, have a lot of fun, and make a lot of ISK. Right, and the way I've done that and the way I've set that up is we have very low taxes across our POCOs. Across ratting, I only put a 0.1% tax, and that's simply to track guys who do rat. And of course, 0% mining taxes. So my methodology is all money goes back to the member, nothing comes to the corp. What that does, it creates a very rich player base. Everyone in my corporation has at least one jump freighter, at least one carrier, a dread. We've got a lot of supers, titans, that sort of stuff. We're an advanced bunch of guys, minimum skill points to get in, and Point Precision. Right, so we exist to make the members rich. When the members are rich, they buy shiny things, and if those shiny things die, they can replace them. That's what it's all about. Rightio, as an Australian corporation within the CFC, it comes with some pros and cons. The biggest, you know, you got to work with goons is one as a con, but it's also good, right? It works both ways. But we're a member of. Careful, mate. Sion's in the room. Yeah. We're a member of Tactical Narcotics team. We live in Tribute, which is right up the top, dead centre, and yeah, boys. Had a great time fighting you guys taking that space too. Right, so the pros of being in the CFC is there are some good fights. With block level warfare, we do things in the thousands. However, being in the Australian time zone with the CFC, they are very US orientated, so we do have to alarm clock some stuff if you want to get in those ridiculously large fights you read about. Right, but it creates online content and good fights. Right, the bad. Can anyone here who is in NC dot, AAA, BL dot, who has set the CFC to red or a negative setting, put your hand up.
Here we go.
Can Goon Swarm or the CFC, Point Precision, put your hand up? Yeah. Whenever we do anything, if we don't plan it to perfection or we make a mistake, we get shat on from a great height, and our losses become very, very expensive. So we've got to do it right or we simply get smashed. We are outnumbered. The vast majority of people in the AU time zone, right? Yep. If the CFC can plan it and get their people motivated, they can pull some huge numbers during the AUTZ, right? Otherwise, we have to try and generate our own content a lot of the time. Because of these guys in the room, it's that simple.
Have you considered bluing more people?
No. Right, so the way the CFC has got around this is by creating Arsehole Squad. It's a special interest group. Special interest group within the CFC. And then they tell us you can only undock in bombers. That's sensational. Right? Right, we also have the option of Faulty 7. I bat flame him on a regular basis, right, if I need to kill things. Right, so let me explain or show you what it's like to actually work with the goons.
Do not tackle my collar.
You're not my mom.
Take Fleet Warp. This is absolutely imperative that you do not jump. Gate red, gate red, gate red. Gate red, gate red, gate red, gate red, gate red.
God, who jumped? What an idiot.
Right, so that was actually a fight that we had during the Fountain Invasion. And that's just, you know, everyday events. And we've already talked about the J word, and that's exactly what that was. Right, so we're forced generally to create our own content a lot of the time. Right, we focus on our mission, which is ISK, fun and kills, and we use the resources and skills that we have at hand. Because this is a mouse, I can't actually click on these things. But right, we have Titans and Supers and that sort of stuff, so what we do is we bat phone Faulty or any of our other blue friends. Zoom that up, please. So this is bat faulting Faulty 7, and Scum Alliance decided to hit one of our assets, one of our posers. They threatened to bring 20 dreads, so we formed a 66-man fleet, ready for the hot drop. Unfortunately, they only rocked up with battleships, and we still had our got. Right, going. What was that?
Need more people, mate.
Yeah. Right, targets of opportunity. Just doing roams, finding Muppets like this guy and his Vindicator, and simply just having our way with him. Right, that guy was solo PvPing in a Vindy. Good on him. Right, we also find absolute Muppets that are doing stupid things in their shiny ships and remove those shiny assets from their possession. This guy was solo siege on a pos in low sec with 0 support, and we took it upon ourselves to drop a super and some friends and remove that dread from his possession. Don't know what he's doing. Anyhow, that was, you know, so it's a good fight. So we create our own content, but the pinnacle of something that I've created from months ago is what I call FAPSEC. Sir Strongarm, wherever you were from before, I'm sure you understand exactly what fapping is. So FAPSEC is an amalgamation of something that's attractive and high-sec. We find high-sec very attractive because the amount of ISK that moves through that place is absolutely ridiculous. And we have determined or decided that it would be in our best opportunity to distribute that ISK to us. Right, so FAPSEC is our high suicide ganking project. Right, it's purely created to create content for our profit, for lols and their tiers. Right, we focus on mission runners. Can I have a look at that kill, please? Come on, Chim. Right, this is a 6.6 billion ISK golem. Right, it takes us no more than 1 billion ISK of our ships to gank someone. Obviously, when you gank someone in high sec, you get concorded. You will notice the very, very bottom module is a Pythium C-type invol field. Right, and I'll focus on that in a second. So go back, Jim. Thanks.
Yeah, sure, mate.
All right. Right, we do freighters, and we either do it on ourselves, by ourselves, as a corporation, or as a part of Mini-Love. Mini-Love is a goon swarm version of this, where they just gank the shit out of anything because of fun. And all that ISK goes back to Mini-Love. With FAPSEC, if you're on the kill, you get the cut of the drop, right? It's for profit. And that's the freighters that we've been ganking. Right, with that invol field I was talking about there, what we do is also follow the IST trail. So I then sell that module because it dropped, watch the guy who bought it, add him to watch list, put him through the locator agents, and I track and trace that guy, and we go and kill him. So it's a great way of making ISK. Right now, finally, you've got to create your own. You've got to create your own content. That even means sometimes I may be so bored that I will cloak for hours in my Titan on grid of a reinforced station in tribute, waiting for Dark Razor to turn up and wrap it with his carrier. And you doomsday the living shit out of the guy. It's great fun. Anyhow, so that is point precision. Thank you very much.
I won't be needing that. From someone who was very prepared for this to someone who decided to do this last night while he's drunk and now feels pretty rat shit, to be honest. But anyway, my name's Eric. I'm from 3 Strikes. Not even on the program. Like I said, I only agreed to do this last night, so we do. But we're in Nully. We're actually the guys who were convicted when Convicted decided to be put on ice for the time being. We rolled ourselves up into one corporation called 3 Strikes, and we struck out on our own and then moved into Nully Secunda shortly after that, because being on your own in Australian time zone kind of sucks. Well, we all know it's really hard to find content and all that sort of thing, so we went back to what we knew. The Nully boys are good. They have a really good complementary time zone as well. They do a lot of late US stuff, a little bit of early EU stuff, and since moving in there, it's actually been really good. As you guys probably are all aware, there's one of the big, well, really the only war in town at the moment is down in Catch, and that's right on our doorstep. So we're getting heaps of content. A lot of it's in Australian time zone. A lot of it is finally, and I'm sure Kryptyt can relate to this, finally offensive stuff rather than defensive stuff in Australian time zone. For the guys who were involved in Fountain and Tribute and all that sort of stuff, all the VDD boys, I know you love repping stations, but I'm really glad that we're doing offensive stuff down there. So, you know, we work with all the other Australian time zone guys in N3. We've got quite a tidy little corp at the moment, about 145 people, about 50 real actual people in the corp. You know, FCs, SRP, all the good stuff that you get when you're in nullsec. And we've got a nice tight little community, excellent posters, very good posters. Woosty, raise your hand. We've got great power. If you're on Kugu, we have other excellent posters like I See You, See Me, See You. I don't know if you guys are aware of him. Fantastic poster, 100%. Everyone in Nully loves him. He's currently banned from the forums. Actually, he's been banned for a long time from the forums. But yeah, I mean, apart from that, there's not a whole lot else to say about it, really. We've got a good bunch of good guys. We like flying our good ships. We do all sorts of things from small gang all the way up to block warfare, and you know, we just have a good time. We have a good time about it because, as everyone here today has been saying, it's about having fun, it's about relationships, and it's about just making sure that you keep your core group together, which is exactly what we've done all the way through since Branch, and it's working out well for us. So anyway, cheers guys, thanks.
Before I say anything else, we've just got to clear something up here. Fozzie, we're in Australia, okay, the land down under. So we call a spade a bloody shovel. We also call a healer a bloody giller. Anyway, guys, I'm Char from Unified Combatants. We're part of AAA Alliance, and surrounded by enemies.
Don't talk back.
So yeah, obviously here having a great time. Anyway, I'm only up here because my chicken shit CEO dropped me in it just a week ago. He said, oop. So RD actually put together a big mail, I think, for all the CEOs, and it was a really long, well-written mail requesting, obviously, someone to speak up here. And our CEO's response, Atham's response to this awesome long mail was no. RD's then replied, okay, then what else can we sort out? Can we get someone else from the corp to come up? And at that point, he's just gone, yeah, cha. I'm like, bastard. Anyway, so on to Unified Combatants. Unified Combatants is a fairly new corporation. We're just over a year old. We started actually in Ornia in HiSec, and I wasn't with the guys at the time, but they were doing PvE. And the guy that started the corp, Scatteria, he was from Goonies, left them, created his own corp, and just recruited brand new recruits, started training them up. After a few months, they started dipping their feet in some PvP low-sec, and from there, they made the full dive out to Syndicate. Made some friends out there, including some of the guys from ISF and Moon Warriors that are here. Yeah, it's good to see you guys, and had a good fun time out there. After that, made friends with Red Alliance, or the Ruskies. Oh yeah, tops. But we moved out there with them and actually formed our own alliance called Pornosaurus, where we had our own SOV out there with them. And we lasted out there for quite a while, had some really good fun times with them before it all went to shit, at which point obviously we bailed. From there, went to OASA for a bit, and then where we had, after that, that went to shit again. We got shoved off again by Pandemic Legion and friends. So from there we went to Derelict Lowsec, and this is where we started really forming a good PvP corv and recruiting some, had some really good experienced FCs and stuff like that, and started really growing as a corp and getting into PvP pretty hardcore. Including fights with some brave newbies. As Agony guy said before, they're really fun to fight. They're always up for a fight no matter what. And even if you wipe the field with them, they'll go like, 2 secs mate, we'll be back in another fleet. And it's just awesome. So really good stuff. From there, the Alliance took a new direction. And just before that, we got Athan took over from CEO because Scud was just a bit tied up with real life stuff. And we, through some diplomacy, found out we were going to join AAA. So that's where we're at the moment. We moved out to AAA, living in Catch. We were there just before the war, and we're still going through SOV and having a bit of issues with Provi and that. And but now obviously full-scale war's broken out, and it's awesome. It's absolutely fantastic. We're right in the middle of it, and getting bashed on all sides, and also giving it back. So having a fun time, and yeah, living it up. Currently, where our recruitment's pretty. Like half the guys in bloody Nully and everyone else are trying to get their spies in, so we're very careful at the moment. But we're always welcome to some new guys. Whether you're a brand new starter, we've got a feeder corp which we can train you up in PvP and slowly get you into it. And the guys that are more experienced, we can get you straight in and into fleets and stuff like that. So skill points requirements, it depends just which corp you go into at first. Overall, everyone's just about having a fantastic time in corp, and yeah, good fun times all around. So yeah, thanks guys. Have a good one.
Okay.
Well, hello everyone. Jimmy's just muting my mic. If you don't know me, I'm Hamber Bogan, the best Bogan. You may know me from big tie-dye fleet fights when nothing's happening. I just spam a local Hamber Bogan, best Bogan, and people like, days after I'm going through random systems, people are like, oh, best Bogan. I'm like, I don't even know who you are. Like, what the heck? Anyway, I am part of the directorship of a corp called House of Serenity with a dot at the end. I think we've got 10 guys up the back from House of Serenity, plus another couple from our new alliance called Disband . I'm going to just give you a brief history of our corp, basically. Going on from what Sion was saying about Convicted, basically I was in Convicted up until Branch, which was a super fun 2-week DBRB, fest, which is really awesome in Maelstroms and structures, and yeah, it gives me nightmares. Anyway, so after that, I was like, there's so many Aussies out there which are in like a US corp, and there's 100 US dudes and 1 or 2 Aussies, and they're like, oh, there's no one on my time zone, and then they end up like leaving the game because of it. So I'm like, hey, I could go and make a corp and round them all up and try and achieve something. So me and a couple dudes left Convicted at the time, moved to Lowsec in Genesis, where the Eve Gate is, which I think I've been to once, but it's nothing special. And basically made this new corp. And our goal was Lowsec PvP, train up some dudes to learn to PvP, then rejoin Convicted. Now, after we had a couple of dudes, whilst he's like, oh, you're still a bit scrubbish. Yeah, no, I don't think you're ready. So basically we're like, all right, we're stuck in low sec for a bit longer. So we found a great bunch of dudes in an alliance called Unprovoked Aggression that we have been with kind of for, what was it, 18 months or so. And we went around low sec, had heaps of fun, ended up joining Black Legion for a time, which was really cool. And then got kicked out because we hit Elo's ego. I don't know what the deal with that was. But we left then and went back to low sec, did some stuff with D&D before they died. I don't know, there's just a trail of death between Corps and Alliances behind me. It's kind of weird. Yeah, spy. Yeah, no, whatever. I definitely don't send APIs, no. So after that, basically, after a lovely argument with our Alliance CEO, after I accidentally whelped kind of all of our dreads, we ended up leaving Unprovoked Aggression. It's still on good terms. We're still really good friends with them. But I think it was just time for us to move on because we really had matured as a corp. That was kind of a couple months ago. We decided, hey, what the heck, let's go and join Faction Warfare because that's where all great alliances go to rebuild. So we joined Amar Faction Warfare, and the first couple of days, I think the kill board was totally red. I don't think we killed anything in about the first week, just because it was a whole totally different play style, like nullsec is to lowsec is to Faction Warfare space. So we kind of learned quick. We kind of made a couple of friends, stole a couple of fits, and did lots of frigate stuff. Had a ball. Memphis is up the back. He was in a dread, and I think we had a couple of dreads on field. We were doing a fleet right, so Amar were getting totally smashed. We tried to do the Camilla thing, and it was about to get lost. I think the day that we moved into Egg Halende, Camilla was lost, and we're like, yes, we didn't lose all of our stuff. But basically, all these faction warfare dudes, they've never seen caps before because they're all scrubs and just flying frigates. So there's 30. We got 30 dudes in there on cruisers and frigates, right? And we're like, all right, let's go and try and flip a system. So we do it, and we start shooting. It's like, oh, this is taking ages. Let's just get a dread in and do it, right? So the FC of the fleet at the time was some random scrubs. So we talking to command channel, hey, we're going to bring a dread, just don't say anything, whatever. Anyway, so we get the signer ready, whatever, and the dude's like, has the package arrived yet, Memphis? And we're like, well, he said kind of keep on down low. It's like, oh, when's the package getting here? Whatever. In open comms, and we're like, are you serious? If you know anything about faction warfare, everyone has ults in the other side so that they just farm LP. So it's like spy, spy heaven. It was really funny. And Memphis is like, I'm dead. But yeah, look, we spent 2 months with that and we had a ball, and I really encourage you guys, if you're just sick of nullsec or whatever, go to Faction Warfare, learn frigate PvP. It's so much fun. You can blob stuff, you can get blob, but yeah, it's really, really good skill training. Anyway, after that, we were kind of looking for another alliance, and we were kind of looking at Nully, and they're like, oh, you're not skilled enough as well. I don't know what the problem with them are. Well, it's because the 3-strike guys are. I think they... yeah, we did. I was talking to the Diplo, and they're like, have we got back to you yet? I'm like, I don't know. Are you getting back to me? I don't know. They're really bad. Yeah, I don't know who the Australian Diplo dude. Anyway, so that door kind of closed on us, and we're like, oh, okay. And then I kind of talked to Benizzle, who's a dude that I actually talked to from Whirlpool forums, if anyone knows that. Wusty's on that, a couple of dudes are. But there's an epic EVE Online thread that we post terrible things in. But yeah, so I got talking to him, and we've actually fought the Nyan Cat Pirates, which is what they're called, is they're ex-401k. Used to live in Venal, kind of fought the Sea of Steam, whatever. Anyway, we end of story. Basically, we've teamed up with them in an alliance called Disbandot. It's actually really, really fun. We just did a deployment to Stain. We've just moved back to NPC Delve, and kind of killing CFC. And I think they're there's a lawn there, which are, they're so terrible. And I think it's turning into renter space or something. So it's going to be epic Black Ops, and yeah. So that's kind of our story. We are recruiting, by the way. Any AU Time Zone PvPers, we would love to have you. So yeah, that's it.
All right. I'm done. All right. My name's Kryptyt. As you can see, my primary job is chief cat herder of those idiots up the back there. Yeah. 34 guys here. We are what is affectionately known in agony as F1 blobbers. It's kind of what we specialise in. Sign drones. We don't even have to press F1 anymore. Thank you very much, CCP. You want to fix that, please? I get so bored myself, and I'm like helping FC. We're part of Northern Coalition Alliance. Currently in a war with this guy. We're going to take note of your recruitment area because we need another spy. Yeah, BDD's been around for about 4.5 years now. Started off way back in high sec, trying to figure out what's going on. Went to wars, high sec wars, went to low sec, sucked really badly. Ended up in Providence, where we first got our first 0-0 gig as a fight club that the Agony guys were talking about, which was a lot of fun at the time. Got a lot of fights with the locals and stuff. From there, we made our way north to Venal, which was probably the worst move we ever made because none of them ever wanted to leave. Crystal Warriors up the back there. But yeah, we've spent time in and out of some alliances up there and eventually landed in the Northern Coalition, which has been our primary home for many years now. About this time last year, we made the decision that we're going to try and make our own Aussie alliance. We all got inspired by Woosty's speech last year, and we went and did that, and that failed. So we spent 6 months and then realised that it's too hard, and went back to Northern Coalition, rolled everyone into the same corp. We actually ended up with this guy in our corp somehow, but it didn't last very long. It's probably one of the best threads we've had on the forums.
4 and 2 carries.
So that's probably where now we're back in North Coalition. BDD kind of specialises, I guess, in block warfare. We've got a lot of CTA level FCs, Dark Rays, a couple of guys, Chappie and Luskin, and sort of done all the sort of levels from small up to big, and these days we focus on the bigger stuff, and got a lot of guys, a lot of capitals, a lot of super capital assets, so it's good fun trying to get them blown up. What else? That's about it, really.
Okay. Nice. Will you hold on to that and we just go from the live? Okay. Yeah, basically, Jimmy, wake up, yeah? Good, thank you. Okay, second mic, yeah, good. Can you hear me? Yeah, sorry. What we're going to do now is just open it up to the floor a little bit to have a bit of a group discussion, questions of any of these guys, what they're about, and they can answer, and we have a bit of a discussion for next 10 minutes, quarter of an hour, and then we'll go into the last session of the day. So any questions from the floor from any of these illustrious gentlemen here?
To the assembled gents, you specifically said that there was an attempt to create an Australian alliance, somewhat like maybe what Tau Ceti Federation used to be for the French or for the Mad Russians. Why did that fail, and what do you think would be possible to make, and this is for everybody here, you know, an Australian alliance? So I just leave that open to everybody.
Give the microphone to Woosty. From our point of view, we collected about 5 corps and made the attempt to give it a crack. We're putting like 60, 70 dudes in fleet, and then you realise that if you collect all the Aussies, there's no one to shoot, so people get bored. And then part of it as well is the overheads of running such a small core group and putting a lot of stress on the people to make sure that it works. It just sort of doesn't work long term. We found it easy that we can go back and focusing on what we want to do best, roll the guys up into one corp and just run the corp and allow someone else to run it. We left an alliance to make our own alliance, and we ended up doing all the old stuff we were doing anyway, just with the extra overhead of trying to manage it. So it was nice having our own banner for a long time, but we did realise that it's probably just in the long run going to burn us all out. So we wanted to have a crack, we gave it a crack, and then was like, oh, it's time to shelve that and go back to just making sure we enjoy EVE a bit more. So yeah.
I think this discussion comes up on a number of occasions, this whole idea of, well, if we all got together, couldn't we kick ass across the whole EVE universe? But I think Kryptyt has highlighted the fact that if we all join one big group, then we're all sitting around waiting for someone else to fight and we've got nowhere to fight. So, not true? Not true?
It never was true, that was always the wrong line.
Go on.
I disagree about the no one to fight thing. That's been a common rationale for not joining an Australian time zone alliance. I remember back when I formed Convicted, that was the aim. It was to have a nullsec alliance for Australian PvPers. Ultimately it failed, well, 3 years was a reasonable run. So I think that was the longest Australian alliance run in terms of It's a very difficult thing to do. The overhead and the rate at which you burn people out is very high. There's absolutely no doubt about that. But there's always someone to shoot. You just got to try hard enough. Content generation is difficult. But the problem that we have in the AUTZ is the fracturing across all of the blocks. What it does is it renders the time zone effectively neutered. You can't actually achieve anything, and everything that you do ends up being on the coattails of Americans and Euros. And I think that's a bad thing. I think there should be an Australian alliance in the game. The problem is it's got to get the people at the leadership level to drop a bit of ego, I guess, maybe, and actually come together and try and make it happen. But it takes a lot of effort to get there.
Okay. Any other thoughts, comments, questions?
Artie, just on that, because this is obviously a hot topic.
Absolutely, go.
I wanted to say the other thing that these guys haven't touched on yet is that the biggest problem, especially if you're in SOV, if you're a SOV alliance, one of the biggest problems is that everyone who is holding that space that you are generally trying to attack, if you're actually trying to achieve something, you've got your supers, you've got your 60, 70, 100 man, whatever, you go and you're trying to take systems or whatever, they're timing for EU time zone or US time zone. And for US time zone, it's the middle of the day for us, and for EU time zone, it's the middle of the night for us. So during the week and even during most weekends, it's really difficult to actually get the people into fleet. Now, if you're an EU guy and they time for US time zone, well, you can stay up a little bit late and you're up around midnight, and that's okay. It's not too bad. If you're in the US and they're timing for EU time zone, you get home from work a little bit early, and you can those two time zones aren't that far apart, so you can still achieve stuff as an EU alliance attacking a US guy. If you're an Australian alliance and you're attacking an EU alliance, you got no hope. You got to get up at 3 in the morning to actually, and that's just the way. That's the fallout of the current sovereignty system as well, with the way that they can set timers to their time zones. That's the other big stumbling block for a pure Australian, at least for a SOV Australian alliance anyway.
Okay, good point. Any other questions and thoughts? I'll just have to dash up the back because my little runner here in Bam is sitting down.
Where was I going? Oh, Jesus. Here you go, Bonnie.
Oh, hello. I haven't got a question, I've got more of a story. Okay, all right. Last year, we referred to as the golden time in AU time zone. That's where the VDD and a corp that I was heavily involved in called Invictus Australis, which was in NC. Hamber joined it, and we disbanded, actually. That's the story. But what happened is that we had to fight the combined might of the CFC. Now, the goon gentleman before was saying how there's 16,000 people in the CFC, and there was people everywhere. You could not fight them in any time zone. They were outnumbered. AU time zone, we shut them down. We are talking combined 200 people shut down a 16,000 man alliance in AU time zone. Now, it's not because we're elite F1 button pushers. I mean, anyone can press an F1, but we died at the start. I mean, Kryptyt and Dark Razor, they whelped fleets left, right and centre. I mean, seriously, I'm still waiting for reimbursement. But they persisted, and then all of a sudden, the tables turned. Instead, there was a 220-man or a full fleet of CFC, and there was a 100-man fleet of us, and we wiped them. And they were dead. There were dead bees everywhere. I mean, it was tragic. It really was. The tears were flowing. We were really upset, and it snowballed from there. And then this Australian contingent, it was only 30, 40 of us, like a hardcore group. We started pulling guys. People come and join the fleet, Euros, US, and then everyone started to pitch in. And then all of a sudden, this small, tiny AU contingent of 200 people were holding off a 16,000-man coalition. Now, people will say, that's crap, we haven't heard about it, but there was an actual speech done by the Matani, who went on and he called his AU time zone people in his alliance plankton. Okay. Can I get someone from CFC to deny that? No, he did. He called his guys plankton.
It was wonderfully motivating for us too when we were on that side.
Yes, I know. And we all love each other. We're all AU time zone. We've got to stick together. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what side you're on. We're all mates. We have a beer. We all love each other. But everyone's got to understand that you've got a small contingent of people can completely flip the way that EVE works. 200 people held a 16,000-man coalition, and they would not fight us. Okay, 16,000 people against 200, and that's sort of like the Spartan 300 guys in skirts. Now, I don't know how many of us were wearing skirts. I mean, that's everyone's private life.
No, we're going to go on for all evening. We've got a couple more things to talk about.
But that's what...
And your point is? Oh, no. Okay, no, we don't just shut him down like that. That's a bit unfair. But anyway, thanks, Bongi, for your thoughts. Seriously, appreciate that. We're actually running out of time here, guys. No, seriously, no. I don't want to... A couple more. Just a couple more comments, questions. See, because... Where? Oh. Okay, guys, go.
Yeah, my question's for Dave Grohl on the AK Hamber Bogan. Mate, at the pub crawl tonight, do you reckon you can cover some fooey for us?
Who was you pointing? Son. All right. Is this a rebuttal? Just a little bit. So, just for point of reference for all of you Australian time zone people, such as myself, we call our US time zone fat, lazy, and stupid. Someone?
You forgot outnumbered.
Does everyone find that things like, say, skill point requirements or having to fly a carrier affect the ability to get Australian members into Null? Like, say, point precision, you know, you get called a suitcase if you don't have a carrier type of thing. Is there any, do you guys think you stop your own recruitment in a way? Like, you don't build because of that?
It does. It obviously has an effect, having a minimum skill point requirement and obviously a asset requirement and that sort of stuff. But that's what I require as a CEO of my guys to fight block level. So we live way up north. Everyone either side of us is blue. Literally the closest thing we could shoot is something in high sec. If we want to shoot a red, we have to travel a very long way. The easiest way to do that, 4 carrier jumps and we're there in 10 minutes. Right, so it's a really important asset and ability and a capability to have for my corporation. But at the end of the day, yeah, it affects my recruitment.
Yeah, well, just to add on to that, I think, yeah, it is for the higher kind of SP things, for sure. Our corp kind of, we've got a couple of newbies, we've got a couple of like real experienced dudes. When we go on deployment, we'd say everyone chuck your ships that we're going to use in a hangar and we'll move it for you. which gives like half the dudes, all the leadership in my corp, they literally have nightmares and like, oh, it's going to cost so much and so much effort, whatever. But yeah, buy supers, sure. But I think that I found during my time recruiting, at the end of the day, I'd rather have, you know, some maybe not so high SP dudes that are really, really keen to PvP, can't fly caps yet. Like, it doesn't matter. I'd rather have them log in than all your bit of vets that have, you know, caps out years and never log on, or it's like, oh yeah, I just log on for pings type of thing. So, hey.
That's dark. I got one.
That is true.
Oh, sorry, I've got something in here.
But just quickly, we're exactly the same. If you guys don't have carriers in that, and well, a lot of our guys don't have carriers or jump freighters to assist in moving their assets out, we'll definitely help them. Yeah, we're all about helping each other. And what was that? Bugger.
Yep. Oh, hey. So this is a question for across the panel. If you could wave a magic wand at CCP, as Alliance leaders, what would be the one thing that you could change about the area of game that you play in, most of you at nullsec? So, you know, what's the kind of magic wand thing that you'd like Fozzie to kind of take away with today?
Good question.
And ebet.com.
It was suggested goons just be removed from the game.
Actually, Fozzie's noting that. It's being noted. No, not true. Yeah, Fozzie. Well, maybe to answer that question, we may actually, we're going to open up to, as in having our round table with Fozzie in a little bit, so maybe we'll get a response from him shortly. But we have another gentleman here.
You guys have got all these rich assets, and you're talking about using carriers to move shit around. You ever heard of the word jump clone station stocked on your Thursday, Wednesday? You do a scheduled roam, you just jay across, jump in your ships, go somewhere. You don't have to travel systems with J freighters to move gear around. Choose a location, put a jump clone in there, go down there when you want to have a roam in some area that's not blue. One good thing about Agony, we don't have blues. We shoot all you fuckers.
I'd say yeah. Like our corp has done it a couple of times. Like we just have a jump clone in another place, so that, you know, if there's a reinforcement timer or something, you can jump to it and defend it. But it is kind of still logistically kind of difficult, because if you're going to get all you guys to jump clone down there, then you're going to have ships there, obviously, for them to fly. I know for people like my corp, we lived in low sec for like 18 months, so we're all like -10, and if there was like -100, we'd be past that. So going into high sec like literally isn't an option for us, unless you want to pay like, what is it, $2 bill or whatever to buy the tags to get your sec status up, but buy your tags. But yeah, for sure. Like that's a really good idea, and I think if there was more, like I think right now in EVE, in the Australian time zone community, everyone's really spread out, and there's no one location where you can say go here and you'll definitely get a fight in your time zone. Like if that actually, you know, did exist, I reckon like my corp for sure, Immensia. Oh well, we were in, yeah, never mind. But yeah.
Actually, I will get you to try and answer that question that Dorgot makes. I thought I'd cover it off. Have you got any ideas for Fozzie and all that sort of, what would you like to change as corp leaders? Maybe we should get that answered.
That's a really good question. I'd like to wait for the roundtable discussions to make a response.
No, seriously, I didn't want to get, so I didn't want to shut you down, Gordon.
Yeah. Apart from the obvious downtime and solve mechanics and all that sort of stuff, I think the other thing is probably fixing or just making it easier to get your logistics sorted out. Like one of the big problems you have with running an alliance or corporation, especially if you're moving around a lot, and I mean a lot of us do in Sov, it's not easy to move around large groups of people, and Well, the power projection thing is slightly different. Trying to get Logi guys, if, you know, like every corp's got it. Every corp's got a guy who runs your freighter or runs your jump freighter or does your alliance or your corp logistics, and they want to cut themselves constantly. It's a horrible job. It's really bad, and that sort of thing. If there's, I don't know if there's a solution to that, but that's probably the one thing I would change, apart from downtime.
Houston, we have a problem.
Sorry with that, guys. Yeah. One last question from this good chap.
All right, I'm Althania. I'm probably the only person from Providence in the room, and I'm about 50% of the AU time zone for Providence. I've heard a lot of people mention they've spent time moving through the region, and if you don't know, we're lined up with CVA, the largest NRDS alliance within the game, which means generally if you're not red, we won't shoot you first, but we'll find a reason to make you red so we can shoot you. What kind of impact do you think that guys has on the newer players to nullsec? You've all spent time in the area. Do you think it's a good idea, or do you just like going there to shoot people? You know, easy fights, but against the noobs.
I mean, our first experience in 0-0 was Providence and CVA. I personally could never have the patience to try that, but it does actually, you know, provide a reasonably noob-friendly sort of 0-0 experience for most new people. So it's hats off to them for keeping it up for this many years. So there's a place for it. It's good.
RD, was there going to be any more questions?
No.
Can I shove in one really quick one?
Bam.
It's very important.
Last question.
My question is to Kryptyt, the CEO of Endem's Demise. Towards the end of last month, you posted did a post on the Corp forum saying that if everyone on the Corp got X number of PvP kills in November, you'd give them a Plex. And then 2 days later, a war broke out. So can I just get a show of... Can I get a show of hands from the guys in BDD who Krypt currently owes a Plex to? All right. If you could get on that, mate, it'd be great.
It was really, really bad timing. It was kind of quiet. The war hadn't broken out and we were staged there, and I thought there's lots of kills for roaming, so, you know, I'll put some incentive out there. And bloody Nully did that first strike on bloody whatever it was, GE, and war broke out. But it's all right. It's good. It gets people to log on and shoot, and that's at the end of the day all we play for. So I'm happy that I'm going to be shelling out like 30 plexes or something stupid when I get home from this weekend. So yeah, no, it's all good.
Okay, big round of applause to the guys.